All the younger have no idea of the contributions that Chief did make. And Chief made some wonderful contributions. He even had some mistakes, and it was, who didn't?
Yeah.
I mean, and we'll have to deal with that.
Are we ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, you're rolling.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Talk about your brothers.
My brother was Melton Campbell and Larry Campbell. Chief was the oldest. They named him Chief because he was like a chief to our tribe. And when I was little, my brother Larry taught me how to fight. My brother Chief was working at a store, and in the evening he'd come home and we would shine his shoes, and he'd go back out and he would sing at the oxbow. And during the day he'd work at the Frontier Market. And he raised me since I was little, since my dad died, because my mother wasn't there. So he raised me up. And
You proud of Chief?
For all the things he's done. I think he gave a lot to the tribe. A lot of times he did work without even getting paid, and he traveled to Washington to help get this land, and he did a lot of stuff for the tribe, and can't think no more.
That's fine. That's it. Talk about Chief here for a second. He did make a lot of contributions. Can you think of some of the contributions that he's made besides just being a leader here? That's a contribution.
Yeah, he got everything. Well, when he first started, he was a Christian. He was a Christian, so he prayed for everything, so God helped him get all the stuff that the tribe needs here. Got the land. We marched around this reservation and dedicated it back to the Lord when we got the land. And he's done a lot. He got into car racing. He was a mechanic. He did a lot of stuff. And I picked up a little bit about working on engines from him, because he used to tear an engine apart and put it back together. He used to buy hot rod, and that's how he learned how to build engines and work on his own car, was through hot rod. He bought that book. And me and my brother couldn't touch it. He knew it if we touched it, and he was really, I guess, he made sure that he had those books there all the time. He was self-taught. He never finished school. He went to 10th grade. But a lot of people told him that he was like a college-educated person. The way he talks, the way he did stuff. He was very good in a lot of politician ways. He did a lot of, and people asked him where he got his education, and he said he never went to college or anything.
So he was a pastor?
He was a pastor. He was a chairman. Mechanic. He used to sing.
And a musician. Go ahead and say those things again.
He was a pastor, musician. He was a mechanic, butcher, and he was chairman. I remember when he cut 2 of his fingers off. He was making hamburger at Frontier, and he sawed 2 of his all the way down to the knuckles off in the meat grounder.
And he still played guitar?
He still played guitar real good. He taught himself too. Everything he did, he taught himself. I guess because God knew what was ahead of him, so he had a lot of help from the spiritual.
What regrets do you think that Chief had? Do you think he had any regrets?
Yeah, I think that he probably regret having the politics get to his head. I think that's probably the most regret he had, because I think he quit for a while, being the chairman and stuff, but he went back into it, and that's when it seems like everything went down. Plus his health got really bad. He got, when we lived in Ortmine, that's where he used to play with that mercury in his hand, and it got into his system. And he was sick from that.
Do you remember what it was like there?
Yeah, I remember when we used to, well, when we lived in Ortmine, it was peaceful. And I remember that a bull came chasing us one time and chased us around the house.
And what was your father doing there?
He was working in the mine.
Your father?
Hmm.
Say your father.
My father was working in a mine.
How long were you there? Do you have any idea?
No. Mm-mm. That's where my dad was born too, was at Ort Mine. My mother was born at Rye Creek. And that's where she grew up, was in Rye Creek. She used to tell me stories about how she used to go get water in wood. And if they didn't get it, they used to get in trouble. She said when they used to go get water, they used to go swimming and didn't get the water, and their parents would come looking for them. My grandmother was blind, but she knew quite a bit, you know. And I remember living over there at Rye Creek too. Just barely remember, barely, because I was like real little.
Do you have any prejudice?
No, I don't have any prejudice, feelings towards anything or anybody. So, but I remember my brother was really bad. My brother Larry. I don't know what they did to him, but it was hard for him to communicate with white people. Yeah.
Chief didn't have a problem with it?
No, Chief didn't have no problem being prejudiced or nothing. Yeah. I remember he used to have an old Edsel. We took it all the way up to Arkansas to Merlene and Jerlene's wedding. And it made it out there. And we was coming back and through Colorado. We ran out of money in Colorado because he got a ticket passing a semi-truck with the logs on it. The cops were waiting down the hill and pulled him over. And that was the last money we had. He had to pay the ticket. But we made it home. We made it all the way home that night.
Have you done without food?
Yes. That was pretty hard when I was a little kid. When I was little, my parents went out and drank and stuff a lot. And my brother wasn't there, so me and my brother Larry had to go without food sometimes because nobody was there to fix us dinner or anything. But I remember when we did have dinner, we all used to sit around a frying pan with tortillas and eat like that because we didn't have no silverware. All we had was a frying pan to cook in. I was about like 6 years old before I knew there was a spoon, forks, and knives.
Do you remember what was in those pans?
No, just food. Yeah, but after, probably when I was 13, my mom finally moved back to Payson. And then I stayed with her after that.
She was at Rye at this time?
No, she was living in Cottonwood with one of my aunts, I think.
Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, but I remember that when we used to live across, you know, we used to have like kerosene lamps before we got electricity. We had no TV. We didn't know what TV was. We used to just like read comic books. Everybody used to trade comic books across the street. And you know, that comic books would have been worth money now if we would have just saved them. But we didn't save them. We just trashed it with all the stuff we had over there. We just left everything there and moved over here. Start a new life. That's it.
All right. That's good. That's real good. We got some good stuff there. We got some good stuff. Teresa, thank you very much. You did a
Okay,
real good job.
what time is it?
It is 7:30.
Okay. Oh, Harry's turn, huh?
Harry?